All right. I think that means that we are live. So if anyone in the audience can do a thumbs up or something like that, just to say that you can hear me in the chat. So there should be a chat on the left where you'll be able to do that. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so yeah, we are live. Very excited. I did want to start off by showing my nice fellow swag here. And so you probably saw this, that we just launched our swag store. So we now have shop.fellow.app. And so of course a bunch of people are going to win swag today, that attended this event. But also, if you want some more, I can never have enough. I think I need one for every room in the house. I need one for the office. I just want as much swag as possible. And so if you want more, now you have a place to get it, which I think is great. So first of all, thank you to everybody here for attending. Your support means so much to us. This is why we do what we do, and this is what gets us excited about helping you all get better at your meetings, better at managing your teams, and just giving you the tools to do all those things. So thank you to all of you, our users. And of course, everybody at Fellow too. So many people work so very hard, especially as we're getting close to these launch events. Everybody is just spending so much time, spending so many hours to make sure everything is ready. And these launch events are the one thing where we have sales and marketing and CS and our developers, our engineers, our QA folks, design. Everybody's working on this tirelessly to get it to this point. So very excited. Fellow version 4.1 is live. And so, yeah, I'm happy to answer all of your questions. So feel free to enter them in the chat and I will answer them there. But in addition, Michaela from our team, I'm sure you've gotten a few emails from her, has done an amazing job as always, where she's posted all the different questions that got asked during the actual launch. And so I can talk to some of those. But if you add more things into the chat here, I will answer those questions too. So let's start with the first question around multiple assignees. Again, amazing feature, love it. The question was, what happens if you have integrations? So this is one of, I mean, if you've followed our previous launches, this is one of the things that in the past made us hesitate to build this feature in the first place. Because, if we supported it, but none of the other tools like, the Asanas, Mondays, and, of the world, if they didn't also support it, then we would have a little bit of a tricky situation. So the way that we've decided to approach this after doing a lot of research on how to handle it is that if you have multiple assignees, that particular action item at present time will not sync to those other platforms. If you have one assignee, obviously it will continue to sync, but if there's more than one, then it won't. And as a matter of fact, we've done a little bit of work to show that if you have the integration in place, if you actually have that integration in place and it's active, the multiple assignee feature will be switched off. So if you're noticing that your multiple assignee feature is switched off, that's the reason why. It's because the other platforms do not support that functionality. And so the way we've approached it right now is that we just won't have it sync. Now, with that said, would love to get your feedback on that. This is the first iteration of this, and we decided to be very purposeful about it. But we expect there will be iterations, so would love to get more feedback from you on that. So let's look at the other questions. Okay, so one of the questions you asked was from Tamir on action items are rarely done or not done. They're often in progress. How do you handle something like that? So that's a good question. There's a couple of, the Kanban board that you suggested, Tamir, is actually something that we've thought about a lot, and it may be something that we actually do. So if you're passionate about that, and others are as well, and if you upvote that on our canny board, that may be a thing that we prioritize and work on. It could be something interesting for us. The way that we handle it today, though, is a couple of things. So in our previous launch, you notice that we can, when you're in your action item section, you can now have multiple categories that you can create. So instead of the default categories that we have, there's some other categories. So you can create your own custom categories so that when you're managing your own action items, you can have a do, doing, done type categorization. So you can do that yourself. So if you just go to the action items page and even go to the full page, you'll be able to categorize them. The other thing that is interesting about how to manage action items that you may choose to do, and I don't know that a lot of people know this because maybe we don't do as great of a job visually presenting this to everybody so that it can be discovered. But we have tags within Fellow, and the tags actually work really, really well. So if you just, type hashtag and then type whatever else, that hashtag will become live. And you can then categorize different action items in different ways. So you can categorize one as being urgent, or one as being high priority or low priority. So you can actually, and then you can search by those tags so that you can find all the action items, for example, that are high quality, that are high priority. So tags are super important for action items, but they can also be useful for things like, and we do this often. So say you're having a call with someone and someone says something very insightful, then I might hashtag insights. And then when I'm having my one-on-ones or my team meetings, I might go to my hashtag insights stream, where it shows me all of the things that I've tagged as hashtag insight, and I'd be able to see that. So anyway, some other ways to categorize action items. Hopefully that is useful, but totally open to the idea of a Kanban board as well. Okay. Um, so once you send meeting notes automatically, can you send meeting notes automatically or share a daily huddle with someone not in the meeting? For example, my boss. So great question, Shannon. You can absolutely do that. The way that I would do it is, and this is one of the things we want to encourage, right? We want to make sure that you are not, what we want to do is we want to make sure that you're not inviting too many people on the meeting. So the way that you can do that is you can go to our automation section and you can create a post meeting automation that will then automatically send the meeting notes and everything else to whoever is not on the meeting. You don't want them to be in the meeting, but you want them to get the information from the meeting. So that's a thing that you can do, and you can do it automatically, so you don't have to worry about it. You can put as many people as you want on there. You can also share the stream with them. So maybe they're not part of the meeting invite, but you share the entire stream with them. And so that's another way that you can do that. Allow different teams within a company to use Workspace permissions for their meeting. So the only thing that I'll say is, like, you can, again, I think the way that Fellow works best, and this is a question from Lydia, the way Fellow works best is if everybody in the company is in the same workspace, but it doesn't have to be that way. So we have some customers that are, I don't know, 100,000 employees or something. And so they will have, not the entire company uses Fellow, but there's different groups. So each one of those groups can have a separate workspace intact. And now the cool thing is that through cross workspace collaboration, now those two different workspaces can actually collaborate with each other as well. It works best when everybody's in the same workspace, obviously, but that is one way around it. I definitely don't recommend that for smaller companies. That's a very specific situation that we created, just in case, for example, one of the product divisions at some major conglomerate company wants to use Fellow, but maybe not the rest of the org. So that's why things like that exist, but they are possible. So another question from Kyle is, are there any plans to implement the ability to generate notes in streams based on a schedule without the need of having an invite, such as the first of every month or every quarter? So today you would need an invite, of course. However, you don't need to have an invite to generate a stream. So one of the things that you might have noticed is that you can take any meeting, say it only has one occurrence ever in the calendar. At the top of that meeting note, there's a new note button, and you can click that at any time. Even if there's not something scheduled yet, you can press new note, and then you can use that. And whenever, if there happens to be a scheduled meeting in the future, you can then associate that note with that meeting in the future. So that's the way that I would handle it, Kyle. Okay, so how do we? The other question is from Patero. How do we access Fellow 4.1? I think some of the features are rolling out. Like, they're going to start rolling out, and more people are going to have it. Some of them are going to be set live shortly after the stream, but I would say over the next few days you should start to see everything in place. Some of them are complicated to make live, and so we've had to roll them out shortly. So, but you should see everything before the end of the week. Um, okay. The other question from Sam: will there be notification support for multiple workspaces? At the moment, I would not get notified if the meeting happens in a not currently active workspace. Sam, that is a very good question. And I actually don't know the answer to that one. So I'm wondering if someone from my team can answer that question, and I can let you know in real time. But I think that so that's interesting. So I know you'll get emails, right? Even if you're part of multiple workspaces, you'll get emails. But the question is, if you're logged into one app, say on your phone, are you going to get notifications from the other workspace? Maybe not. So that is a way that I would think about it. But you will get the email notifications if you have that on. So from Kevin, surprised no mention of Chat GPT integration. Fun fact about Chat GPT, we obviously love it. And when Chat GPT came out, I think a handful of us almost didn't sleep that night because we were so excited about what the possibilities would be. And we had a hackathon that happened to be scheduled 2 days later. So we had our whole company, for the most part, focus on Chat GPT features. So all that to say is nothing is live yet, but we are actively working on some really, really cool things, and you will see them at our next launch for sure, and possibly before. But there's a lot of stuff, in this space. And one thing that I wanted to talk about is there's a lot of our partners, Zoom, Google Meet, MS Teams, who've been great partners to us and who we work with very closely. They will continuously release features that allow you to transcribe and to summarize meetings. So our focus is going to be by working with those partners to make those transcriptions, summaries, and those sorts of things available within Fellow. But we think that the way that we can uniquely add value using AI is by making it so that preparation coming into the meeting is super easy, faster, and we save you time. And our goal is to make sure that 100% of your meetings have agendas in advance, and really make that easy to do. Obviously, the workflows from the meeting, and then, of course, the decisions and actions that come from the meeting. How can we make sure that that information is disseminated to everybody within your company? So there's a lot that we can do. And But you're going to hear about that stuff very, very soon. We have some prototypes internally that we've worked on, so a lot is being worked on. But you're going to hear about that soon. So it definitely is on our very near term roadmap, and we're working on it right now. A speech to text note taking feature in the future. Lydia, that is a great request. I don't know if you've added that to Canny. I would love for you to do that if you haven't. What I will say is this, which is I love voice notes personally. The one thing that you can do, which is kind of cool, if you didn't know about this, if you use like a video software tool such as Vidyard, we use Vidyard internally. And then there's other tools. So, for example, if you use Loom or something like that, you can actually embed those videos directly in Fellow. So it's not quite speech to text, but it's a way of recording things. And so that's something that I would recommend. And yeah, one other question I saw during the live chat was around whether we embed Figma. Of course, like we love Figma, we use it internally, and you can definitely do that and embed Figma files. We do it all the time. And wow, there are a lot of questions today. So let me see if I can uh, see what else I can answer. And then of course what we're going to do is we'll copy all these questions. If I didn't get a chance to answer your question since we're out of time, our team will respond to you after the fact, and and we'll be able to get those answers to you. uh, to Jason, Joseph, thanks for attending and for all your questions. Jason and I have a, by the way, I will tell everybody here because this is actually useful to know. um, we have a super managers Slack workspace. And if you're a Fellow user, and you're one of our power users, and you really love Fellow, you can actually join that. Our entire team, including myself, is on that Slack workspace. So we'll get to share new features with you. We'll get to discuss items with you. So make sure to join that. And then that's another live collaboration way where we can eat, like our product managers often recruit people for user testing through that means. So if you send us an email, we can let you into that Slack workspace, and that could be another way that we do some cool things. I did want to do something fun though. Since everybody here stayed for the Q&A, I'm going to let you know about a feature that we just got approved that nobody else knows about, which is we now also have a Zoom chat integration, thanks to Alexandra on our team, who is working hard to make that happen. And so if you use Zoom chat, we now also have a Zoom chat integration, which will go live shortly. It didn't get approved in time for this launch, but you get to know about it first since it just got approved. So that's another fun review thing. The final things that I will say is, thank you all for attending. I know one of you made a comment that how come Aydin isn't a top user and doesn't have a top user badge? And what I would say to that is the way top user badges work for internal instances, you have to be the top user in the whole company. And I don't like, if you meet people at our company, it is really hard to beat them. And while I've tried, they are just better. They're just better and more, and they use the product more than I do, no matter how much I try. So it is very, very, like, if you have a top user badge at Fellow, that is like next level, because that's only amongst our internal instance. So anyway, finally, thank you, Michaela, for getting all the questions and putting them in order. If you liked what you saw today, we really appreciate it if you could leave us a G2 review. If you haven't done that yet, we really appreciate all your support in that way. And of course, lots of great things to come, lots of AI features coming in our next release very soon. Thank you all for all your support. It means so much to us, and we'll see you at the next launch event.